Good evening, Packers fans. The preseason is over. That's right. The Packers wrapping it up in Kansas City, falling to the Chiefs in a pretty lackluster affair overall, all three phases, especially in special teams. But, some kernels to grab onto there, some interesting play across the board in all three phases as well. But it's finally over. Preseason is done. Wrap it up. Take it home. Gut reactions are up on cheeseheadtv.com. I'm going to be here hopefully after almost every single game going forward. I'm giving you a little wrap up session since I no longer have to do post game shows for iHeart. I'm going to be doing this. So let's get into the groove, shall we? Hello to everybody in the comments section. I have so many people like bitching about the refereeing in a preseason. It's a preseason. Who cares? Who cares? I know Abernathy got robbed on that OP, what should have been an OPI and probably should have been an interception, would have been an interception if they call it correctly. Whatever. Like, everybody's just trying to go home, trying to keep everybody healthy and get out of there. I'm fine with that. I don't really care. I mean, it can be frustrating when they're calling every single hand to the face on the Packers, yet somehow miss your safety getting mugged. And speaking of Abernathy, I think they got something there. Like, I know the kind of narrative for the last week has been how kind of beset they are with injury. Vernon Scott getting released, the Savage still isn't out there, etc. But I think this may have opened up a little bit of a pathway for Abernathy to make a case for himself. And damn if he hasn't. Again tonight, he's very decisive. He's very physical. I really like what they have there. Now, of course, that's no given that he makes the 53 or even the practice squad. But, that's the kind of thing where the guy gets signed late in the process and hasn't been with them all offseason, hasn't even been there for installs, but goes out there and plays with instinct, plays with physicality. Really like what they have there. So we'll see. We'll see. I think he's absolutely made a case for himself. No doubt about it. What do we got here? Joe, thanks for the super chat. Toure and Heflin make the team tonight. Heflin, I definitely think has a chance. I think Toure's got practice squad written all over him. I know people get so worried this time of year about cutting a guy and possibly having him picked up on waivers. But I'm telling you right now, there's a Toure in 3/4 of every camp in the NFL right now. And there are plenty of other fan bases worrying about their guys getting picked up on waivers. I know the Taysom Hill reverberations resound in Packer Nation to this day, and people get really concerned and worried. But I would think Toure would make it through waivers and end up on the practice squad. And that's kind of what my guess would be there. Big Daddy Cool Breeze, what's up, buddy? For all of his puppy fund. I appreciate it, bud. I very much appreciate it. Eddie, what's up? How you doing? Thanks for checking out the stream. Appreciate it. Thoughts on Toure, William? I was just talking about it. I think he's really balled out in these preseason games, which is what you need to do when you're a 7th-round pick. But I think the numbers are working against him. And I know I saw some people on Twitter talking about possibly keeping Toure over Winfrey. You will be able to knock me over with a feather if that were to happen. I think Winfrey's on this 53-man roster and Toure is a practice squatter, but we'll see. Hey, Nags, what do you think about Sal Cannella? Do you think he can make the practice squad? I think he's a definite candidate for the practice squad. Did some nice things there at the end in the second half. And he's certainly shown enough, right, in the sense of not just being able to catch the ball down the field, do some things after the catch, but also in the blocking aspect of things. The tight end's a tough position. We've heard Brian and Matt both talk about, the idea that you've got to do everything on that side of the ball other than play quarterback, but you've got to block, you got to be in line, you got to be split out, you got to play in the slot. A lot of times you're asked to play in the backfield. There is a lot of responsibility on your plate at the tight end position, and none of it seems too big for him. So, I think he's got a chance. Saul, thanks to the super chat. Big trash can full of dirt. Love that 4th down stop. I mean, obviously he had a free run and you hope you make that play, but still got to make that play. And he absolutely did. By the way, I just want to give a shout out to someone out here, Ryan Willie, saying, like, literally at the 3rd comment in, love is not the answer. If you're saying that in response to this game, you have no idea what you're watching at all. Like, zero idea. Preston, thanks to the super chat. All Heflin and Goodson do is make plays. Our special teams, though, my God, cannot happen during the season. I mean, you mentioned Goodson, but he's part of the special team snafus tonight. I mean, that guy has got to ball out on teams to make this roster, and he certainly did not help himself in that regard with that muffed kick return. And also, he just did not look right in pass pro. He got bowled over a couple times. So I think if the choice is between him or Patrick Taylor, I think Taylor took the inside position tonight. Now, they still have a couple practices. Anything can happen, but we'll see. Rick, did Watson play? No, he did not. He was a scratch from the get-go. I know he suited up and did warm-ups, but that was it. He was not. He was part of the 20 dudes who got sat down. Torrey will get claimed. Steven, I highly doubt it. Ed, thanks to the super chat. Nags, I think Love looked pretty good in the preseason. On the other hand, special teams remains ugly. I agree with everything you just said. I mean, special teams. Look, I'm holding on right now. I am the only kernel of hope that I have remaining when it comes to special teams is that it's just preseason and they're dealing with lots of guys in and out. And they're dealing with, about half your squad who probably isn't even going to be on the team once week 1 rolls around. I'm just holding on. I'm holding on to Rich Bisaccia and his experience getting things together, ready to roll week 1. That's all I got. That's all I got because wow. I mean, the opening kickoff, they couldn't block anybody. Amari Rodgers, I thought, actually looked pretty damn good as a returner in both punt and kick, but only when he had an ability to step forward as a person, let alone try to run and gain yardage. I mean, there was one return where they were running to the left and they didn't even block the end. Guy just, well, thanks very much. Here's a clear shot at the returner. What are we doing? I don't know. I just don't know. ADF, thanks for the super chat. Can I get a brief summary of the game? Was only able to watch the fourth quarter. Yeah, the Packers had to go up against the Chiefs starters, and many of the guys playing for the Packers obviously are backup quality, and they really struggled early on, really struggled. And even some of the frontline guys who will be starting, whether it's Josh Myers, etc., they really struggled against the Chiefs starters up front on both sides of the ball. And that really stymied anything that the offense could do. I mean, the defense at least could get off the field, but they couldn't get anything going on offense until I think roughly the third series. Then they started to kind of get it going. Packers had a shot there at the end of the first half to move the ball and maybe get a field goal or something, but Jordan Love made probably his biggest, I would say, mistake of the preseason in trying to fit that ball down the seam. I understand it's the end of the half, time's running, you got 20 seconds left, you're trying to get a chunk play. I get that desire, but the ball is too precious, especially when you put it in jeopardy like that. You saw that return. That could have ruptured into a pick six. You cannot afford to do it. The ball is way too precious. To me, that's a monster learning moment for Jordan. He's got to know. You cannot make that throw. I wish Amari had more wiggle. Been such a disappointment. John, did you watch tonight? He looked good tonight. It's just an odd comment after that game, especially coming out of the backfield. I thought he looked really good. And yeah, no, is he Tyreek Hill? No. But precious few people are. I don't agree with that at all. You think Ty Summers makes it? No, John. No, I do not. Jason, thanks for the super chat. Why do we always suck during preseason? The list is long, Jason. Too long for this. Too long for this venue. Chris, I love it. Didn't have a bad game. Love had 0 scores and a pick. He's trash. That's awesome Madden analysis there, Chris. Well done. Did you miss all the great throws he had to Winfrey, Torrey, and Romeo Dobbs? No, because you don't count those. You only look at the bad stuff. All the good stuff just didn't happen or was supposed to happen. Madden, you know what's trash is your ability to analyze quarterback play. That's what's trash. Steve, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. Excited about this Packer season. Looking forward to seeing the growth of our young Packers. Relax. I'm with you on that relax part, buddy. I'm right there with you. Pat O'Donnell looked awesome. Brandon, I said at camp there was a stretch of a few kicks, but one in particular where he looked like young Clark Kent in the original Superman with Christopher Reeve, where he gets frustrated and boots the ball like out of the stratosphere. And that's what he was doing tonight, like repeatedly. Now, on the first one, that's a classic case of outkicking your coverage, unfortunately. I mean, it's a great booming punt, but if you've got literally, which they had, one dude down there who gets walled off by two blockers, and then you've clearly tried to, I guess, angle it to the left, but all your guys are pursuing on that side of the hash, and then you leave this wide open swath. Well, yeah, there's an easy return because you've booted it so far. That's what I mean about outkicking your coverage, man. You gotta marry that stuff up, and that's where I hope Bisaccia comes to the fore starting week 1, because right now it is not pretty at all. Is LaFleur considering giving up play calling for some reason? Andrew, no. He's definitely handed play calling off during preseason at times, and I think he did again tonight. But no, not for the regular season. No, he'll still be calling plays. Nags, your Packer transplants is coming to us. It'll be back September 7th. Corey and I will be back live with you every Wednesday night, starting that Wednesday before the regular season begins. Dag, thanks to the super chat. Jordan looking good. Not too tough. I mean, I think for the most part, yeah, he did look good tonight. He had, again, that one really bad decision. But overall, he looked pretty damn decent. Am I worried about Mason Crosby? No. Would it help? Mason told reporters earlier this week that he's in line, he's on track, should be good to go for week 1. I'm not worried. And I will say, I really like the kid they have kicking right now. I mean, he took that bad running into the kicker penalty, but I think he looked pretty damn good tonight again. And he has looked good since they picked him up during camp. So if Mason's unable to go, I don't feel terrible about it, given what we've seen from the young guy. Next, thanks for what you do. Makes me appreciate A-Rod. Danny, thanks. Tell Aaron that. Dustin, thanks to the super chat. Wish Barnes had a better game. Seemed out of sorts. Well, you got to remember, there's so much going on in the preseason when you've got a mishmash of guys around you. It's not like you've practiced any of or most of these looks. It's not like you're game planning. Maybe you've done a little work on cards, but it's, as well as he looked last year in Arrowhead, I actually thought he looked pretty good early. But as they started subbing more and more guys in around him and different calls and what have you, you're never going to be a finely oiled machine, right? And you're going to be out of position sometimes just because of, all the moving parts. Yeah, I thought he looked okay early on. But yeah, definitely as the game went on, it turned into something else. Preston, thanks for the super chat. Got an unsung hero for tonight's game? Unsung hero. Hard to be a hero in a preseason game, Preston. But, give me Zach Tom. All he did was go in there, do his job, do it well. Probably won't get talked about a lot about coming off that game, but he looked as solid as he has all summer. Big Daddy Cool Breeze, what's up? Thanks for the super chat. Today's jam, Bon Jovi, You Give Love a Bad Name. Well played. I like it. And Igbare, quiet today. Yeah, Danny, he had a bit of a rough outing at times tonight. I do think you still saw a couple of plays where he actually set the edge pretty well and tried to get after the quarterback, though he did have a little bit tougher time making it happen. There were a number of plays, though, where it really felt like Andy Reid was toying with him specifically, whether it was some of the misdirection stuff in the backfield, the cross the formation tight end for a pass out of the backfield. His head was swimming at times. You could really see that. But yeah, definitely not as productive as you would like, given how good he had looked this last couple, 2 weeks or so. But still, young guy, still some promising stuff. It's not a referendum on the kid or anything like that. Overshadow, thanks to the super chat. Yep. That's all you have to say. Just yep. I'm down with it. Cheesehead TV is king. Thanks, Jake. Appreciate that, buddy. Rough game for Carpenter, not a safety. I don't know. I mean, yes, the touchdown that he gave up was brutal. Got caught flat-footed looking at the QB while his guy just basically ran by him. But, you go forward, or you go previous play or two before that, when they had run, I think it was a 3rd and short, release to the tight end in the flat. Guy's wide open. Tariq came up there and cleaned that up really well. Very physical tackle, covered a lot of ground very quickly. It's what you want to see from a young guy. Decisive, get up there. That's exactly what you didn't see on that touchdown play. So, is he a safety or not? I don't know. I think it's way too early to say that, but that's the, late round pick, young kid. It's going to be inconsistent. You hope that, you probably stash him on the practice squad and you see the same kind of jump from him that we've seen from McDuffie and John Charles, etc. next year. But yeah, he probably has a couple of plays tonight that he would love to have back. Dustin, thanks again, buddy. Rough game for Raji. Felt like he didn't even play. He's coming back, baby. He's coming back. Didn't catch the game. Did Tyler Davis help his chances of staying on the team? Anthony, he had one nice catch towards the end of the first half as they were trying to get the ball in position to score. Other than that, he didn't do a whole lot. He looked okay, I think, in the blocking aspect of things, but nothing major. Although, like I said, he did have the one nice play and he held on to it. It was better than the drop or the fumble from the last couple games. So progress in that regard. Uncultured, thanks to the super chat. To add to what Big Daddy Cool Breeze said, bonus jam, The Final Countdown by Europe. There we go. There we go. Andy Reid played that preseason game pretty aggressive for a preseason contest. Daniel, that's Andy Reid. And that's Spagnuolo, too, on defense. That's how they roll. They played their starters. They blitzed. They were blitzing in the fourth freaking quarter of a preseason game with the lead. So that's who they are. It's absolutely 1,000% how they operate. The fact that Mahomes was out there last week throwing it all over the yard for a quarter or whatever, however long he played. That's who they are. It's what they do. It's a different beast there in Kansas City than it is in Green Bay. Is the Royce Newman experiment over? Please, LOL. Lee, I don't think it's over at guard. I hope it's over at tackle. I just don't think he has any business playing tackle. That's just me. The Packers have forgotten more than I know of football. But, man, I just don't see him at tackle at all. Dustin, thanks for the super chat. Only jam for the next month. Bang your drum. There you go. There you go. Caleb Jones makes the team. Mark, I think he's got a shot. Still think it's probably practice squad for him, but there's definitely a chance. Andrew, thanks for the super chat. Amari running back 3 to keep more elsewhere. I don't know if it's strictly that, but that's certainly part of it, right? Brian always talks about the puzzle and how it all fits together. And I do think if you have that ability to utilize him as a running back out of the backfield, maybe that does help you numbers elsewhere. Now, that said, part of the gig is pass pro. And I still haven't seen Amari have to pick up a blitzer yet. So if you see him back there, you're pretty set on knowing that he's probably either going to get the ball or as a decoy. I don't know about his ability to step up and take on a blitzing linebacker yet. Still glad we sat the starters, and I was in Jax last year for Saints fiasco. Go Pack, go. Danny, I'm with you. They had no reason to play the starters. I totally agree with you. If Royce Newman starts at right tackle week 1, I will cry because that means Aaron Rodgers will die. Big B. Come on now. I mean, Aaron Rodgers will be running for his life, but he'll survive. Dustin, thanks again, buddy. When's the next Drunk Cheese? Oh, I don't know. Drunk Cheese was the time of lockdowns and quarantine. I just don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Do you think some players will mysteriously end up on IR? I know a lot of teams do that. Heard Chimura say that on ESPN radio a long time ago. Yeah, I don't know. Mysteriously, quote unquote. I mean, sometimes the Packers did it probably a couple years ago when they put EQ on IR prior to the season. When you do that, though, that means you're done for the year. You're kind of redshirting that season. I know he felt and his agents felt that EQ could have been back like by mid-season, but the Packers just sat him down for the year. That does happen sometimes, but who that might be this year, I have no idea. We'll see. All right, everybody, I'm gonna have to get going. I can't thank you guys enough for hanging out, talking Packers each and every day. Dustin's got one last super chat. Drunk Cheese made the pandemic bearable. Dustin, that's why I do what I do, man. Thanks for saying that. All right, everybody, gotta go. Thank you so much. Check out Gut Reactions at cheeseheadtv.com. I'll be back tomorrow, probably midday, with kind of wrapping up the week with Packers Daily. Thanks so much, everyone. Please do me a monster favor. Hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then tell your friends and tell your family, Cheesehead TV, we are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great night. Go Pack Go.